Welcome to the Sick and Tired of Management episode. I'm Jeff.
I'm Tom.
I'm Kim.
And they're all sick and tired. And we are the Three Old Reds fans coming to you from Studio 82, just down the street from our good friends at Beans in the heart of Cedarville, the famous birthplace and final resting place of Reds legend Bumpus Jones. Be sure to subscribe to us on your favorite podcast app or website and leave us a 5-star review. That will help other Reds fans find us. And we might not be as the most entertaining show out there, but listening to us sure beats watching the Reds on most days.
Are we on TripAdvisor?
I don't know. TripAdvisor, Podcast Advisor. I don't know. I don't know if we're on any of that stuff. So anyway, it has been a good long while since we got together. It's been too long, but we've had graduations and family stuff and vacations and this and that and the other, and covering Dragons games and going to Dragons games and not going to Reds games, but, you know, other things like that. So life has been busy, but the Reds were bad last time we met.
How are they now, Jeff?
Well, they're not as bad as they were then, but they're still bad.
Record-wise.
Record-wise, yeah. They've had some good stretches and everything, but it's still really the same old in so many ways. And so some news came out today about the outfield that Riggleman said that he's going to play the old guard there, so to speak. He's going to play Schebler, Hamilton, and Duvall and see if they can work out their hitting problems. And he's relegated Winker to the fourth outfielder, which
Is that
I
Riggleman
know.
that says that, or Dusty Baker?
Well, Dusty
always stuck by his players.
Dusty's not in the picture as far as we know. And is that a management? Where's that come? Is that just him? Is he talking? I got a feeling he's talking with guys up above him, unless he just doesn't want to keep his job, and so he's going to do something like this. So
my first thought is the reason he did it is to make these guys more tradable by playing them more.
It's possible.
Can't put them on the bench and then trade them.
And no, you can't. And I don't know that you can get much for him in the first place.
Yeah.
However, there is that thought. There's also, I've wondered too, when the four-man rotation is, does that allow anybody to get on a roll? Does that hurt all of them by doing that? And that's very possible. Winker is the popular guy out there. Everybody wants to see Jesse Winker play.
He's the only one that hasn't proven that he's not a good player yet.
That is a fine way to put it. What do you think, Kim?
But it's so true. It's so
now,
true.
Winker may be, as well, not a great player, but we just don't know yet.
That is so well put. It hurt. As three old Reds fans,
The truth hurts, right?
The truth hurts.
It does.
I mean, the outfield is the problem on this
Three old depressed
offensive
Reds
team.
fans.
Yeah, the outfield and the starting rotation has been the big, that and some infield defensive issues, but.
Well,
Those
well,
are the
that and
the list is long.
I don't even like our bat boy.
The list is long and undistinguished.
Well, that about wraps it up.
Yeah, this is why we haven't done this for like 3 or 4 weeks.
All right, so I think it's time for my quiz.
Now, now, wait a minute. Before we get to that news broke today on Twitter. Kim starts texting, what is this? He goes on a texting rant.
You're
So,
right.
Kim, tell us how you really feel.
Well, okay, let me look at some things real quick. Duvall with his grand slam today. He's 1 for 3. He's upped his average to 183. And the other 2 times,
Well, you struck out.
strike 3.
Yeah, well, you know.
Billy,
Aaron Judge strikes out a lot,
0
too.
for 3.
But he hits for a lot better average.
Billy 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts.
Billy had
His average is down to 209.
his 5-game hitting streak is on the line
Now,
today.
if we played in the Grand Canyon or Yosemite Park or Yellowstone Park, I would say go with Billy. You know, he's got a lot of room to cover.
I don't think anybody plays in those parks.
But here's some things I tweeted y'all, okay?
I know you became one of those guys on
Nope.
Twitter today.
No,
not really.
he shared tweets with us through text.
Since Winker was called up to stay on August 117, here are the lines. Winker, /lines, 270, 361, and 418. Schebler, 241, 316, 451. Duvall, 199, 271, 288. Okay? Here's someone else. 37 players had 30 homers last year. 37th place in OBP last year was .363. Jesse Winker's OBP in the major so far, .363. So yeah, that OBP is exactly as hard to find as those homers the other guys hit. And another one, Jesse Winker has a .356 OBP. The Reds continue their reign as a horribly run organization. And so I sent the one with Arthur Carlson and the famous WKRP Turkey episode.
Yeah, the Reds are managed about as well as WKRP.
I have video evidence that vindicates Jocketty, Williams, and Krall. Here's the video of the Reds' current brain trust, and it showed Arthur Carlson and
Herb Tarlick.
So
with as God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly.
And
I thought Duval could hit.
As God is my witness, I thought Duval could hit.
Before we went on the air, we're sitting here talking about this, and I just said, I just don't see that we have a game plan. And by we, I mean upper management, senior leadership. Go back and go look at the news presses and the releases 3 years ago. 2017 was the year we were going to field a competitive team again. Here, 2018. Here we are in 2018, worst record in the National League.
Well, not anymore, but they are not the worst record in the majors.
No,
but in
the
National
majors,
League.
you've got about
correct.
2 or 3 other teams right there with them.
And like we said, Kim, we just don't see where they're going from here.
No, it's just the absence of a plan.
It
and
seems
it's just,
haphazard. Yes.
It's like, and what do? We don't know what we're doing. We don't know what we're doing, and we're not there. But you read all these great pitchers, and they come up with the Reds. And Romano's ERA in the first inning, 9.75. Castillo has not done much this year at all. Tyler Malley, who hardly walked anyone in the minors, he's rounding into form. He's starting to adopt. Homer Bailey, who's the same guy who years ago got in a cab and there was a radio show on, and he chastised the cab driver for, why do you listen to that junkie station? Okay, real humble guy.
I bet he didn't say it like that.
Makes the comment, you're right. He makes the comment, it takes me alleged comment, it takes me a long time to loosen up from the bullpen.
Yeah.
What do we need? 4 innings, and you got your 5 earned runs and 3 walks out of the way.
I know.
I just
it's not like you're a rookie.
I just don't get the entitlement mentality. And Homer is a veteran.
Oh yeah, he's clearly unhappy about this, and I wouldn't be happy if it was me either.
And you know what?
Then pitch
But
better.
pitch better.
And that's exactly right. And that's what everyone said. You want to get out of there?
Exactly
How about
right.
this?
Can you really say you don't deserve it?
No, you can't. And the only thing you can hope for is that this gets him serious about changing some stuff. But he doesn't seem very willing to kind of reinvent himself a little bit, as pitchers have to do as they progress throughout their career. But he looks like he's trying to do the same stuff he did when he was 23 years old.
I have always hated guaranteed contracts because Homer Bailey really has no incentive to perform. He's going to get paid whether he has a bad day in the office or a great day in the office.
Unfortunately, that's not going anywhere.
And there's not too many ball players anymore who would play basically for free and who would love to be out there and do whatever.
No, there are not, and there never will be again.
Well, there never will be, but
it's just not going to happen. So anyway, we did that rant, which was good. I will add this to the outfield situation. I think, as Tom alluded to, Winker hasn't proven he's not a good player yet, like the other guys sort of have, in varying ways. And I think, as I've said for years, we kept hearing a lot about Jess Winker, and it took him a long time to get here.
yes, it did.
And if he was that great a prospect, why did it take him so long to get here? Probably because, as he's proven, he's not a very good defensive player. He's probably below average out there.
And what does that mean?
And
you said probably below average.
Yeah, well, he just seems that. I mean, I don't have stats to nail that down. But when you watch him play, you just see him take bad angles. You just see can fumble around a ball. His arm isn't. You can tell his arm isn't that great.
I think what you're saying is Duvall's proven he's a good outfielder.
They're playing the three best.
Hamilton's proven.
Today,
They're
they're three to play
outfielders.
best defensive outfielders.
I agree with that.
And there's merit to that. We lose sight of that sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes, and that matters. And I just think I'm all for Winker getting his shot, an extended shot. He's not hit left-handers well. Of course, you can't hit left-handers well if they never let you try either.
That's what the minor leagues are for.
Exactly. And he was there a long time. And he was the prize prospect because the Reds farm system was awful. It's gotten better. There's a lot of good prospects down there. I don't think there's an elite prospect down there. There's no Vlad Guerrero Jr. There's no Ronald Acuna Jr. that came up this year for the Braves. There's, when have we had a guy come up at 21 or 22 and be lights out? Now maybe Senzel. Well, okay. I'm just saying recently it just hasn't happened.
You're right.
Maybe Senzel becomes a guy like that. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. We have to wait and see. But I just wonder if we've got a lot. All these prospects are coming. They're all going to be. Some of them are, a Taylor Trammell, a Siri, a Stevenson, a Long, a Senzel. Are they going to be maybe just kind of good players? Are there any all-stars down there? I don't know, and I'm not sure that there are. We won't know until they get a shot.
You can't bet your future on that.
And so, I think when you get in this situation, you bet your future on a bunch of prospects.
That's right.
And that's what they've done. They've bet them on a bunch of young guys, and they're not all going to come through. And you got to be willing to cut bait a little sooner, I think. And they haven't been very willing to cut bait and move on to the next guy. They've let guys go that possibly could have helped them and so forth, but that's sort of the way it is. So my point is, I think the outfield situation, as I texted the other day, I think we need to just blow up this outfield and start all over. And
it's a very difficult thing
to
do. No one wants them.
But it's really hard to do. Yeah, it's like an emotional response to like a much more complex problem, because what are you going to do? Just pull up 4 guys from AAA and play them in the outfield,
right.
And trade Winker for a pitching prospect and hope for the best? I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to, he's a DH is what he is. And so, but he's not a power hitter either, so he'll never be a great hitter. He could be a pretty good hitter, but I don't think.
How do you know he won't be a great hitter? How do you know that?
I don't think he can be you're not going to be a great producing hitter in today's game if you don't hit him for some power. I don't mean just a bunch of home runs. I mean extra base hit. The guy doesn't get extra base hits.
I just out of the four outfielders right there, he has the most promise. If you would.
Well, I wouldn't say I don't disagree with that, but I'm saying is I don't think he'll ever be as good as maybe he was projected to be at one time, or we hope he will be. That's my point.
That may be true. I'm just saying, with the 4 that we have, why aren't you playing him? Did you see that? I didn't text y'all this one. They had the plate appearances, all of them.
Yeah.
Okay. Winker has 300. I think Shebs is next with 1,000. Then Duvall about 1,600, and then Billy like 2,000. Why aren't you playing the young guys who have possibly a future?
I don't disagree. I mean, he can't get better, and he can't get any better in the outfield sitting in the dugout. He
had a class response. They did have a response of his on there about up here, wants to learn, wants to get better and everything. Now, who knows what he did behind closed doors? Maybe he slammed a few. He had the right response.
Yeah. All right, give us this quiz. Get us off this.
All right, this is
stop the bad mojo here.
This is the first.
And did you create this quiz?
This is a Tom Sizer quiz.
Oh, this ought to be good. We'll have to double check. Do I need to fact check?
Listen, you guys know. Hey, that was only one time.
Well,
Okay.
E. Sizer.
Okay, you guys know.
Not even an EDP.
You know that I'm a glass half full kind of guy.
Oh, so am I. Except when it comes to the Reds.
We're gonna start this off with some good news and bad news questions.
Oh, okay.
Some of these will be easy, I think, for you guys to get. Maybe some not so easy. All right, so here we go. You ready for this?
How many questions?
I don't know. 50, 60. I think there's like 10 questions.
Is this on BuzzFeed?
I made these myself.
You made these up?
I made these up.
Oh.
He created.
All right.
Homemade.
Good news. A good news question here. Who leads the National League in hitting?
Scooter Gennett.
Scooter Gennett, 345.
Going into today anyway.
Going in today. All right, bad news. This is an easy one too. What current player is literally not hitting their weight?
We'll let you have this one.
Well, I don't know how much Billy weighs, but he's around 203.
Oh, he doesn't weigh 200
and
pounds.
Duvall's hitting 183, so I'm going to go with Duvall.
Yeah, going in today, Duvall was hitting 185. He weighs 214 pounds.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Billy weighs 200 pounds.
All right, back to good news, because, glass half full.
Not even with 3 bats on his shoulder and the batting on deck.
Glass half full here. Who leads the National League in RBIs?
Suarez.
Eugenio Suarez.
With 16 games missed because
That's right.
of injury.
42 RBIs. See, there is good news on this podcast today. But bad news.
Here you go again.
What Reds player leads the team in errors?
Peraza.
Scooter and Peraza are tied
Hey, we're both
with
right.
7 errors.
All right. All
good-
right. Way to
good
go.
team-
I'm glad
good
they both
teamwork
got,
there.
I'm glad they both have
Remember
7.
3 to 4 years ago, as bad as we were, we had a great defensive team.
Yeah, you're right.
What
All
do you
right.
call it, Brandon?
More good news here, because that's what we're all about. Where do the Reds rank in team batting average, just approximately?
In the National League?
National League. What would your guess be
Is
approximately?
this a good news question?
They've had
This is a good news question.
They've had some good weeks
I
in
don't
there,
know. Maybe 5th?
so they're not as low. Yeah, I'm going to say 5th through 8th.
I'm going to say 5th. I'm going to drill down
All right,
to
I'm going to say
5th.
7th.
That's impressive. They're 9th, which is, out of 15, not terrible. They're hitting 245.
Boy, that's what we've come to. 9th isn't terrible.
That's good news. Atlanta is leading the league.
You're starting to scrape the bottom of the barrel for good news.
At 266, Atlanta's leading the league. All right, bad news. Where do the Reds rank in the National League in pitching ERA?
Probably last.
15th, 5.02, and they're a full point lower than
And that's
the
with a
league,
good
than the league
bullpen.
average.
And that's with a pretty good bullpen, especially as of late.
And Washington leads the National League with 3.27.
Yeah, well, they got Scherzer and
Yeah.
those guys.
Okay, here's something that
And
you
we
may not get. I may pull
And
the
we
wool
got,
over your
we
eyes.
got high school players.
We're not good or bad news anymore here. We're just news questions. So, what Red starting pitcher leads the team in strikeouts, fewest walks,
Molly.
ERA, and WHIP?
Tyler Molly.
What do you think?
Strikeouts.
Strikeouts, least earned runs.
Is this the same person for all of them?
It is.
I would go with Molly.
Fewest walks,
I'll go with
ERA, and WHIP. So clearly, Tyler Molly. I don't think I realized it until I looked at the stats. How much better he has been than the other starters. Okay, what reliever leads the team in the lowest ERA and the fewest walks? Lowest ERA of a reliever.
Dylan
Okay.
Floro.
No, I think he went up a little bit
Minimum
lately. Went up a little
innings
bit lately. It may be Amir Garrett.
Oh, Floro doesn't have enough innings to count because his ERA was like 0 like a week ago.
Jared Hughes.
Jared
It was
Hughes.
Hughes.
That's my next
Okay.
guess.
And Amir Garrett is close behind.
All right.
Okay, 2 more? We all right with 2 more?
Yeah. 2 more. Hit
Okay,
us.
2 more.
This is actually like good content as well.
What Reds pitcher has appeared in the most games?
We know it's not Iglesias. We
Peralta.
What do you think?
I agree.
That's correct. It's 29 out of our 55 games.
Yeah, that's
which
set
is
up.
way too many, by the
It was a
way.
little setup. Yeah, I mean, he never throws that many.
And Jared Hughes is
He's probably
26.
second, yeah. It was either gonna if it wasn't Peralta, it was Hughes. I figured.
All right, last one. Wins above replacement, one of Kim's favorite measurements. What Reds players have the highest WAR this year? I think this is an easy one for the top 2.
It's going to be Suarez and
It's
Jeanette.
going to be Suarez because Jeanette's defense is going to hurt him.
Scooter and
Hey, Eugenio.
Eugenio. Scooter's at 2.2. Eugenio is 1.8.
Well,
Joey's-
probably because of the games he missed.
Joey's at 1.5. Last year he was 7.5.
Well, for the whole year.
And the year before that he was 4.0.
But that's for the whole year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
he's
there's
got a long
time.
way to go to get to 7.5.
I know. Unbelievable. It tells you the difference.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That's a
Okay.
good
So
question,
probably the
Tom.
best quizzes you've ever had.
It was good, and it's probably one of the better ones I've ever performed as well.
I think you guys
we did pretty
you got
well.
pretty much all
I think
of them
between us we got them all right,
I
didn't
think
we?
you did, yeah.
We're pretty close. So we talked about Homer. Bullpen makes sense. I mean, I think they looked at him and said, "You get a year's worth of starts," and that's what he's had.
At 15?
Yep.
He's had a
That's
season
right.
worth of starts, and to figure things out after missing so much time, and his ERA last year was over 6, and his ERA this year is over 6.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't see it the other
You can
night.
look at all other kinds of stats you want to talk about pitchers, but a 6 ERA, and nobody say that that's deceiving.
I didn't see it the other night, but Tom had noted on a home run pitch the ball was flat. He's just, whatever it is, he doesn't have it. And it's so a bit frustrating because last year, right before the All-Star break, at Colorado, at Arizona, he had his only 2 good back-to-back starts. This year, the beginning of the year, he had about 3 or 4 good to decent starts in a row. But since then, the wheels have fallen off, and he's just tanked.
Chris Welch always talks about, look, he left it over the middle of the plate. Well, watch Verlander pitch.
He never pitches.
He does sometimes leave it over the middle of the plate, but guess what? He's got such good stuff.
Yeah, it's
They
moving.
still
What did Johnny
pop it
Bench?
up. Or-
What did our man Bench say about Homer the other day?
He said he says you can see the ball coming too soon.
That's right.
He doesn't
He's not deceptive
He's not
enough.
deceptive enough. You see the ball coming. Like I saw a guy pitch last night for West Michigan. He's a Tigers guy, single A. They were playing at Dayton. Elvin Rodriguez. This guy was a Pioneer League Pitcher of the Year last year. He's 6'3", about 180, and he's got good numbers this year. And he only gave up a solo homer last night in 6 or 7 innings. And he topped out low 90s, threw a lot. Most of his pitches were in the 80s, and he struck out 12 guys.
Wow.
And one guy in the press box remarked, you can't see the ball coming. You look at his delivery, and he was right. I hadn't paid that much attention to it, but he hit it. You didn't see it coming. So it seems like so that helps when you're not throwing 100 miles an hour. If you don't see the ball coming as soon, that sort of speeds the pitch up a little bit.
Yeah. Sid Fernandez of the Mets, remember him?
Yeah, how weird was that motion?
He had such deception, and not only not seeing the ball, but his release point. His release point on that pitch was phenomenal.
Yeah.
You never knew when it was coming.
So Homer threw 2 no-hitters. So there was a time where the release point didn't matter.
No.
His stuff was just so much better.
Right. Yeah, he doesn't have the same stuff. And that's not hard to believe. When you miss that much time and you get to be 34 years old.
2 surgeries or whatever.
Yeah, it's not that hard to believe. So, at least the bullpen is good. Everybody's healthy now. Iglesias came off the DL today. Lorenzen's back, and he's thrown well since he came back. I don't think he's had a bad outing. Garrett's been really good. Peralta has had some walk issues.
Is Bryce
but
back?
He's about to come back, and he had been pitching well. The Floro, they brought him up. He was good. There's been a couple guys they've tried that haven't worked out, but the hammers that they wanted to have at the beginning of the year are back. Thing is, when you're going to trade, what do you got to trade?
You have no choice.
You got to trade strength because that's what people are going to come for.
Scooter's
strength, and that bullpen is strength. And Iglesias has been thrown around a lot as a closer. There's the thought that you can find a closer.
Yep.
You can make a guy
And
a
the Reds
closer.
have.
And you have, and you do, and you figure one out, and you make one. Make a guy a closer. There's probably a couple guys in minor leagues that project that well. And the guy at Dayton right now projects as a good closer. He's got leads that league in saves, but he's a ways away. But there's got to be somebody else closer that could possibly do that. Maybe even Hughes could take that over. Maybe Amir Garrett could become a closer. I don't know. Talk about him, it's been going on and on about he should start, but he's been really good in the bullpen. Part of me is like, well, if you trade something to get other stuff, then you've lost what you traded. So you've got to be very strategic about it, and you've got to feel like you've got what. So it gets back to that. What's the plan? And is there because it seems haphazard. I'm sure there is a plan. I'm sure they've got some kind of spreadsheet somewhere that tells what they're trying to do, but it doesn't seem like they know what they're doing with it very well.
They're typing it on Word Perfect. That's what I texted y'all. At least we know one thing. There's no metrics with this ball club.
Well, it doesn't feel like it. But
And
anyway,
that's the right word. Feel. We're going to see if Duvall, Adam, and Shebs. We're going to see if they can work their way out of this slump. Are you kidding me?
yeah, I mean, it's more than a slump at this point.
Right.
It is.
It's who you are.
It is. It is who they are. And Billy can hit a hard line drive and get a bad luck out. But if he didn't pop up so much,
Exactly.
then or strike out so much, then he'd hit more line drives in there. About the time you give up on them, they'll start to do something, and they'll have a couple good weeks, and the Reds will be like, okay, maybe this is going to work. Maybe this is going to work. But after a period of time, you got to decide, long term, this isn't going to work. We got to find some other people. So
You know what the best use of Billy Hamilton would be? Late inning, you're down by a run.
Defensive
Let him
replacement and a
pinch
pinch
run,
runner. Yeah.
right? He scores from first on a single or whatever he does.
yeah,
And then he goes into center field after that.
yeah. But you're not going to pay him very much for that. So I think he's out of here. And the other part about Billy is that his best skill is his speed, and to even consider any kind of more than a year deal for that guy is bad, because as soon as his speed starts to diminish, or if it already has, he's only got like 9 stolen bases this year. There's been times he's been on base a lot that I'm like, why isn't he running? And he doesn't run. So when that speed goes, he's not worth much. And I feel bad because I really like to watch him play, and I think we all do.
Yeah.
He's fun to watch. He just, was
Every
a better
third
hitter.
game.
And I just don't think he's a very good hitter. He's just not a good hitter, period. Marty went off on that the other night. We've seen enough sample size. This guy he's not going to be a hitter.
Marty and Tom both get a lot of criticism, and some of it rightfully so. But how frustrating it is when you pour your heart and soul, your career into this team, and you're rooting for them, and you just see things like this.
Yeah.
It's got to be
and
mind-blowing.
And I'm driving back from the Dragons game last night, and Blandino throws away a routine ground ball, and Marty's like, "This is the worst defensive team I've seen in 12 years," or whatever. I don't remember what he said, but he just was so. I mean, just a routine play, and they just blow it. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him one bit. So, throwback real quick. Well, I got a trivia question, and I'm going to ask it because your stuff was all new. So this is an old one.
That's good.
In May of 1987, what Red hit 3 grand slams in the month of May and became the first National League player to ever hit 3 grand slams in the month of May? In a month.
Is it a guy who just had a birthday recently?
I don't know. I don't know the fall birthdays. We can go ahead and answer it if you know it. What do you think?
I don't know.
Who would
I
you
was going
get?
to throw out Eric Davis.
Okay, that's his guess. What do you think? You go with that, or you got somebody else in mind? 1987, hit 3 grand slams in May. First National League player to hit 3 grand slams in a single
Was
month.
Eric Davis already that good in 1987?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was his best year, actually.
He had 37 homers, 100 RBIs,
Yeah,
and 50 stolen
I
bases.
think that was his best year, actually. He was like the best player in baseball that year.
So it's not him since he's saying that.
No, it is.
Oh, it is? Okay.
It is.
Eric Davis.
Eric Davis. So 3 guys have since tied the record
Not
in the
Reds.
National League. No, not Reds. National Leaguers.
Give me teams. Give me teams.
Well, either Dodgers or Mets
Cespedes?
for one guy. No, for older.
Oh,
Since.
okay.
More
Gary
like
Carter.
No.
Strawberry.
Dodgers, Mets. Just went in the Hall of Fame.
He what?
Just went in the Hall of Fame recently. Or he's going in this summer. Did he go in last year? The year before?
Can't think of it.
Position.
Catcher.
That was close.
Dodgers, Mets.
Pudge? No.
Dodgers, Mets. Oh, it's going to kill me. Oh, Piazza.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Piazza. Which I typed pizza on my screen here. I left the first A out. Second one was these other two will be harder to guess. Second one was Devon White, and I don't know who he played for in the National League at that time because he played for the Angels for a long time. And the other is a power hitter who bounced around, played for Mets, played for Astros. Is he still playing, or he just quit playing in the last year or two?
Really?
I can't think for sure. Carlos Beltran is the other one. So pretty kind of interesting.
Play for the Yankees?
Yeah.
Play for the Cardinals?
Play for a lot of people.
3
Yeah.
grand slams in 1 month.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Scooter might do that.
Yeah.
I can see Scooter doing that someday.
Yeah, me too.
So you guys think Scooter is the real deal for the rest of his career here?
I don't know. I mean, who knows what they're going to do? Can the guy play left field?
Can't play second base.
I mean,
Can he play center field?
I don't know. If he can make him an outfielder and he can still hit, everybody's like, oh, his numbers project. He's not going to continue doing what he's doing. Well, yeah, he's not going to keep hitting 340 this year. I was reading something earlier about it because he's on the trade rumor stuff. It's like, well, he's not going to keep hitting 340. Oh, he didn't have to keep hitting 340. Man, goodness, nobody. How many guys ever hit 340 in a season?
All right, so what?
That's pretty
real
rare.
Quickly,
but if he hits around, if he's a 300, if he's
Oh,
a basic 300 hitter, that's fine.
Real quickly, separate. Same question. You're the decision maker. Do you trade Scooter or not?
I certainly look into it. If I don't think, but I don't think you can get much for him. So I sign him and put him in and try to make him an outfielder. I mean,
Tom,
what else can you do?
You don't think you can get something for him? He's the best hitting second baseman in the National League right now.
Here's what you do. You don't pull a Jockety. You don't do it now. You wait till the trade deadline when there's a team out there.
Absolutely.
You need someone. The opposite of what he did for Chapman.
You absolutely have to trade him. Well, I mean,
I don't have a problem with it.
The qualification is got to get something really good.
I'm afraid,
Yes.
yeah.
And Scooter's young.
And so there's part of this. I've criticized the Reds for being afraid to trade guys because they're afraid that what they get won't work out. And then here I am saying I don't know if I want to trade him. I think he's good for the team. I think he's probably a good clubhouse guy.
Yes, I agree.
I think the fans like him. And I think that has some merit. I don't think it's.
Although look at Todd Frazier.
You can't. Yeah, you can't rule. You can't go by that 100%. But it has a little bit of merit. Probably the smart thing to do is trade him, if unless you just don't get a decent offer.
Got to get, like Tom said, got to get value.
Here's the thing, though. The trouble is, Kim, when you get towards the end of the season, the only people that are getting really good pitchers at the end of the season are the top teams that are contending for.
Right. Look
And
at
we're never
Houston
going to
last
compete
year.
with
Look
them.
at Houston last year.
Houston, the Nationals, the Yankees. They're the ones that are going to add the stud pitcher. The Reds aren't going to get.
Which is why they're in this development of pitchers mode, because they know they can't get that.
They're not going to get that for Scooter.
No. No. So the most talked about guys to trade are Scooter and Iglesias. I mean, we would anybody would trade any of those outfielders, I think, if they thought they could get a decent something for them, but that is so unlikely. Those guys will be DFA'd before they ever get traded, any one of them probably. So that's kind of where it is. Amir Garrett might get somebody's interest. Young, big arm.
But see, I don't want us to give up on Amir Garrett.
But I don't want us to give up on him, no.
Yeah. It's very, not even possible. At this point, it's probable that hip injury he had last year is what really slowed him down.
No doubt, yeah.
I'd love to see him in the starting lineup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, in time, it might happen. It might happen. So, okay, we haven't even talked about Matt Harvey, but yeah, it's just another guy we're trying out. See what happens. But it's hard to have much of an opinion. It's like, kind of how we feel about it. I don't think that's the way most Reds fans feel about it. All right, my throwback player. He was a Red from 85 to 92. Okay, and there's a reason I chose this one because it sort of fits with another player, and we can have that discussion. He became a full-time player in 88, so he had 5 full seasons with the Reds. First 2 seasons, he had like half a dozen at-bats. Overall, he played 17 years in the majors.
Wow.
He had 96 of his 281 career home runs as a Red. He was a one-time All-Star with the Red. The Reds traded him, and he made 4 All-Star appearances there. Who am I?
You have to give me a position.
Well, he's an outfielder. He hails from Columbus, Ohio.
And help me.
Paul
O'Neill. And I say that because one reason the Reds traded him was they couldn't hit left-handers.
Yeah, but he hit for power.
And he always hit, and he hit for power, and he hit for more power, and he hit better when he became a Yankee. He became a better player. And so there's this Winker thing. He can't hit left-handers. He's not hitting left-handers. at 8, that's why he's got to get a shot, because you got to see if he can. You got to give him some time to do it. Now, O'Neill didn't do it for like 5 years very well. He still was a much better hitter against right-handed pitchers than he was
Didn't he
ever
play every day,
left-handers.
too, with the Yankees?
Well, he pretty much played every day with the Reds. I mean, he played 140, 150-some games when he was with the Reds those 5 years. He was always – I mean, he played 162 games, but he was an everyday player. He probably sat out against the really tough
But
left-handers.
remember in the playoffs, they alternated him and Glenn Braggs. Braggs is the one that made that catch in right
Right,
field against
right.
the wall and
In
almost
90.
knocked it down.
In 90, yeah. And so they did at times, but that was part of the reason they traded him. So they traded him for Roberto Kelly. This is like one of the worst Reds trades ever, I think. They traded for
After
Roberto.
Frank Robinson.
Well, yeah, I didn't say it was the worst. I said one of. They traded for Roberto Kelly, who hit .313 with the Reds, but he only played in 125 games over 2 seasons. And then they traded Roberto Kelly
For
Deion Sanders, who played 226 games over 4 seasons for the Reds, batted .260 and stole 94 bases. So, what O'Neill did, now would he have been as great a player with the Reds? I mean, you would think he would have been.
Why wouldn't he have been?
Why wouldn't he have been? He was getting better, unless somebody over there unlocked a secret in
Right,
his
right.
swing that nobody else ever would have. Anyway, so that's our kind of throwback guy, and
question.
it's an interesting thought about what do we do with a guy like Winker?
My wife used to like
O'Neill
Paul,
was
yeah.
O'Neill was a good outfielder too, great arm. Yeah, we gotta actually have a home run ball signed by Paul O'Neill because we got the vet one.
Oh, you told me about that.
Yeah, it was really cool, really cool.
what do you do with a guy like Winker? You don't sit him. You play him.
Play him.
Well, if you get a choice, well, we don't need to go there again.
We're not in the playoff hunt. You're not losing anything.
What are you losing if you swap him and Duvall? I mean, really?
I know.
Nothing.
Enough.
I mean, Duvall's gonna hit more home runs,
What do you
but
lose?
he's gonna
Like home runs.
but he's not gonna be as productive a bat.
But it's not like
It
we're
doesn't
3
seem
games
like.
back.
No, it's not. All right, guys. Summer is upon us, and these guys are still hanging around. The best they ever seem to get is about 15 games under, and then they lose a couple, and then they win a couple, and then they get to 14 games under, and then they lose another 2. I guess that's kind of what we're in for this year. I think right now, since that horrible start, since they first got to like 15 or 16 or 17 under, they've kind of been the team we thought they would be. They've won as many as they've lost. They've been kind of a 500 team, but that we still see big flaws. The outfield doesn't produce. The infield makes errors. The starting rotation is still young, and that's kind of a nutshell on this team, I guess.
I'm going to come back to the glass half full. So what we all have to look forward to, though, is there's Hawaiian Shirt Day coming up in 2 weeks. I mean, June 17th, Reds Hawaiian Shirt Day.
Are you going to break out your Tom Selleck look, your Magnum PI?
Maybe you need to start calling me Thomas.
Oh, I do. That's your son. Your
Little
son goes
bushy
by
mustache.
You have a Detroit hat.
that. Can you run from Dobermans?
I would run from Dover.
Carlos and Zeus.
All right. Well, I guess we'll wrap it up. And if you don't have a chance to get to too many Reds games, you should go June 9th and get Scooter Jeanette's bobblehead riding a scooter. I'm tempted, but I don't think I will. They'll probably won't give them all out, and you'll probably be able to buy them at a game some other day, just like the Johnny Bench bobblehead that I bought recently, beginning of this season. You bought one too, didn't you, Tom?
I did.
So we each bought a Johnny Bench bobblehead because they couldn't give them all away because the crowds were so bad. So anyway, well, in continuing to keep with our low expectations for this team, the next time you hear from us, hopefully the Reds will have another hitter worthy of respect. Right now we have 2. Well, I guess 3. You always got to respect Joey, even if he's not hitting.
You do. And as only 6 homers and 24 RBIs, it seems like it's been that way for weeks. He's now up to the low 290s in hitting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Those
You know,
punch singles to the right side.
yeah, it's kind of, or the last time it was the left side. So it is kind of frustrating. But
Yeah, I
you
know.
have to respect Joey.
You have to
right.
respect Joey. A starting rotation that starts to look like it's more than at least a half a step above AAA, maybe. And a bullpen that remains healthy. That would make us all very, very happy. Maybe. well, I'm trying to be glass half full.
I like it.
Trying to be glass half full. But you know that might be about as good as it gets this year. So until the next time, go Reds.
Go Reds.
The Reds.